So I have a triathlon in a month and I'm completely sick. I have a chest infection. So I thought it would be a good time to tell you guys how to recover when you're sick. Welcome back to Tush Trains, and in today's episode I'm going to be talking about should you train whilst you're sick, and I want to give you a full athlete's guide to recovery. So without further ado, let's get straight in. So number one is you have to understand what's actually happening in your body. So what happens in the beginning is that your immune system prioritizes fighting infections. If you're training, the stress basically competes with recovery, and you don't really want that. So if you have a chest infection, this equals to inflammation and mucus production, which leaves a direct impact on breathing and oxygen delivery. The rule of thumb when to actually train is when the symptoms are above the neck, it should be good to go. You can train lightly. Like the last couple of days I was doing brick sessions, maybe a triple session, maybe a double session too, but I felt okay because it didn't go beyond the neck. So when it goes beyond the neck, it goes to your chest, that's when you need to worry. That's when you need to actually think, oh, maybe I need a couple of days to recover. When it's below the neck, you just have to rest. And below the neck means your chest, your lungs, and if you have a fever. Number two is you don't want to train through it. Trust me, I've made this mistake several times and it's not helped me. So when you're pushing hard and you start training really hard when you're sick, this delays your recovery. So it risks complications such as bronchitis, pneumonia, and myocarditis. What I want you to remember is you don't actually lose fitness as fast as you think. So fitness levels actually go down from a period which is about 10 to 14 days. Apart from that, you should be good to go. Missing 3 to 5 days of training can actually save your entire race. Now I want to talk you through some accelerated recovery strategies. The number one is the most obvious. It would be sleep. You want to aim for 9 to 10 hours rather than 7 to 9. This will give you more time to recover. Sleep is the number one performance enhancer. You also want to consider having some hydration and electrolytes. So this basically helps mucus clearance and supports your immune response. There are some particular nutrients that you do need to focus on, such as vitamin C. You can get this from fruits, peppers, and citrus fruits. Vitamin D, you can get this from sunlight or supplements. I would recommend sunlight a bit more than supplements. Omega-3s are really good because they are anti-inflammatory and they support lung function. Protein, of course, everyone needs protein whilst they're recovering. So this leads to muscle preservation, and you need this because your immune cells are actually protein dependent. You want to actually find ways to reduce inflammation naturally. So what I would go for is I would make turmeric, ginger, garlic, green tea, and bone broth. All of those things I would just include. Like today, I'm feeling a bit rusty, so I'm going to go to the butcher's, get some marrow bones, make up a bone broth, and then by tomorrow it should be ready. You can use strategic movement when it's safe to do so. If your symptoms are actually above the neck, then you can go for some gentle walking, some mobility, yoga, and what this does is it basically boosts your circulation without impacting your immune system that much. You can use steam inhalation or a hot shower. That's basically the same thing, and what this does is it loosens your mucus and improves breathing dramatically. By the way, breathing drills, now these are some of my most favorite things. I'll tell you what, diaphragmatic and nasal breathing are really good for this, but they are very hard to do, especially if you have a chest infection or you just have really bad lungs, but it's well worth it. So I'd suggest go ahead and do some of those breathing because it aids in recovery and lung function. So when do you actually want to return to training? So you have to look at the symptom checklist first. So the symptom checklist would be is that your fever is gone, your energy is back, the cough is easing up, breathing is normal at rest. Now that's important. Your breathing has to be normal at rest. If you're breathing too heavily or breathing too much, it's probably not best to start training. So when you get to your first sessions back, what you want to do is you want to stay in zone 1 or zone 2. If you're anaerobically training, just use lighter weights. You want to use the 50% rule too. So when you get back to training, it has to be 50% intensity and 50% duration. So essentially half of what you do normally. You want to gradually rebuild your body to how it used to be, because you don't want to jump in and start to try and catch up with the sessions that you lost, because that leads to complete disaster. At the end of the day, it's a complete mental game, and you have to have mental robustness to actually believe in yourself. So we all know that missing training can be frustrating, but fitness is not lost overnight. Basically, you can just take a couple of days out and you'll be right as rain to continue. You want to think long term too. So 90% fit plus 100% healthy is better than 100% fit and you're still sick. If you're actually stressed about the day, then you want to use some visualization, race day prep, and just, mull things over before you have your race day. Now, there are some times where you probably need to contact a doctor. This would be when your fever is above 38.5 degrees Celsius, or if you have shortness of breath at rest, that can pose a serious issue too. If you have chest pain is one of those. Now, don't just go to the doctor and say to him, I need some antibiotics, because that's really bad practice. Everyone does that and it does not help you one bit. And the last thing is, if your symptoms worsen after 5 to 7 days of recovery, then you probably need to contact a doctor and get that sorted immediately. Anyhow, thank you for coming to my talk, and I'll see you on the next one.